we hope to have her back soon. But joining us again today, our guest co-host is an actress, a producer, and she's so lovely, the amazing Ryan Michelle Bethay. Ryan!
Hi, everyone. Hi. Hello.
It's so great to have you back, Ryan. Why don't we kick it off with some girl chat, shall we?
We shall.
Yep, let's do it. Can I start? Ladies, listen to this. So, Vice recently reported that many inmates in prison across the country, they're making TikTok videos, and it's going viral. Videos show them dancing, doing food tutorials, or just hanging out. I mean, some people think that because, phones are considered contraband, that they shouldn't be doing it, but others think it helps combat the stereotypes associated with incarceration. What do you think? Are you feeling the prisoners doing TikTok? What's up, guys? Let me know.
Wow. First of all, I didn't even know this was obviously I knew TikTok was big, but I didn't know you could do it from the jail.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that.
No, you're not supposed to be doing it.
That's what I would think. I would think it would be sort of like illegal. But on the other hand, social media, TikTok, all of these things are ways that we as human beings connect now. And, we don't take away their mail. So maybe there is something to be said for them being able to participate in this very human part of what it is, to connect these days,
Well, a lot of them are doing it because they're getting, they get money. They put their Cash App on their account and they're getting money, So they put their Cash App on the front of their account, and people are sending them money. And a lot of these prisoners, I was looking at those accounts, they had like millions of followers on TikTok.
No.
So that's another reason why they're doing these. I don't think it's right. You in prison for a reason. I
don't think it's
right. You
right.
in prison to be partying, making dance videos. You and shout out to all the prisoners, because the prisoners be watching us, Ryan. That's what you don't know.
I was wondering. I was going to ask you that question.
Yeah, they do. They send me
I was
lectures.
going to ask you that question.
Yeah,
well,
I agree with you, Lonnie. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right, but hey, prisoners.
I don't think it's right, and I had to think of it this way. I would have such an issue if someone was in prison for doing something terrible to my family member, and then I'm seeing them here on TikTok having a good old time, making videos, getting money from Cash App. I would feel that wasn't justice. I wouldn't feel that justice was served to. So again, I think obviously it depends on the crime. Because we do have people that sadly are in jail for selling weed, which is now legal in so many places where other people are being celebrated for it. These people are incarcerated for it. So that is a completely different thing. But specifically when you're talking about violent crimes or something like that, that's upsetting. Like, I can't imagine you having done something violent to a family member, killing someone in my family, and then I get to see you do a little song and a dance on TikTok. That would piss me off.
Yeah, no,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
And you know what the thing is maybe if there was some type of way to regulate it. The reason why they don't want them to have phones is because sometimes, depending on the crime, they're threatening people. They could be sending death threats, things like that. So that's the reason why they don't want them to have phones. But
and
if there
phones
was some
are
type
a luxury.
Of way, it is a luxury. But for non-violent drug offenders, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably. Yes. But we would have to find a way to make it within the prison system and not, like everywhere. It's a way that they could figure it out, but I just don't think that for everybody, especially violent offenses, it should not be any phones.
Sex offenders.
They need to crack down on it.
But
I don't want to see sex offenders
in the prison anyway. Aren't they in separate parts of the prison? Isn't there there's jail and then there's jail, right? So maybe that's
they're not
regulated.
Yeah.
No, and a lot of people are just awaiting their sentencing. They haven't even had trial yet. That's the other part, is that there are a lot of people walking around who are out on bail because they have the money, and some people just end up in jail for a really long time. So it's a thorny issue. It's a very thorny
part.
Yeah. Very thorny.
So
but don't
true,
send nobody
so
no
true.
money. Don't send nobody no money. Don't send no money. Don't send no money.
Well,
How do you feel,
guys,
Ryan?
there is another controversial conversation that I have to bring up. Mary gospel singer and my girl Erica Campbell was preaching on the gram the other day, and she actually sparked a huge debate. And I want y'all to weigh in on this, okay? Erica, who's been married for 20 years, posted a message that said, "You can't sow hoe seeds and reap marriage benefits. Your brain and body don't switch like that. You got to prepare your mind for marriage because it's a ministry." Ladies, are you picking up on what Erica's preaching? And what are your thoughts?
Married ladies,
Well.
y'all can talk.
I think, I think it's really, again, a double standard. A guy, gets to sow his wild oats. A guy gets to be a bachelor. Women, the minute we do it, we're labeled something negative. But, I feel like when you're dating, when you buy a car, you test out the car, you go for a test drive. So we may want to test a few people out to see who we want to end up with. Why does that make me a hoe if I want to do that? Not that I'm doing
I know
that.
plenty of hoes that are married.
Me too. I'm like, listen, I understand where she's coming from. And I too was raised in the church. So I understand the context and the backdrop and marriage being a ministry. I understand that. And this is no shade or knock against that. However, I also know that they're in the world. There are a lot of people I know who they got made into housewives real quick. And in fact, their husbands are like, I didn't marry you for your cooking. I didn't marry you because you do laundry. I didn't marry you.
Okay.
I didn't marry you for none of that. The house can be a mess, and they are just as happy as they want to be because they married that woman for what she provided them. And I say, let it. Some men want the woman who's going to, take care of the kids and be on the usher board and the deaconess and all those things, and that's wonderful too. But there are a lot of men out there who are like, no, I married a hoe because she a hoe. Let her be a hoe. Let her do what she's good at. She's good at being a hoe. Let her be a hoe.
Ow!
Right?
I get it.
Hear that.
She a
Let me tell you, some might say
Let her be
that
a
them
hoe.
hoe seeds is how they got the marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like, some might say
Right.
that. But I also have to say, like Garcelle was saying, if it's one-sided, let me tell you, some of y'all husbands is hoes. So
Right.
I think
Yep.
that
Right.
I think she actually may have been speaking to men. I think sometimes we just think the word hoe is specific to women.
Nah, she's
I
talking to
think
women.
she actually, and this is just my opinion, I
was
think she
talking
may
to
have been
women.
speaking about men who are sowing hoe seeds, and then they get into marriage
Yes.
and they haven't really got their minds on recognizing, oh, you can't be doing that when you're in a marriage. Oh, you have to prepare your
Right.
mind and your body for the idea that you are now just going to be with this one woman. And I think that a lot of people don't take the time to prepare themselves spiritually, emotionally, and mentally and physically for what that vow is that they're taking.
Yeah.
Now, you know what?
Yeah.
This is plain old, I love me some Erica. And I ain't talking about her. I'm talking about in general. Why is it that women love worrying about what other women are doing?
Woo.
They love putting on labels on another woman. If you got your man, if you dealing with your thing, why are you worrying about? I mean, I understand if you want to try to help give some advice, but the advice is so cruel. It's so judgmental to me, to sit back and you don't even know what these other women are going through. So to put a label on a woman because you consider her sexually free and maybe you're not, to me, that's wrong. And I think we as women have to stop doing it to ourselves. Men are not necessarily doing it. It's that we, or if they do it, we sit back and we validate it. So we have to stop labeling women, because they're like we keep saying, hoes they get married. I've seen,
They get married
adult
too.
entertainers get married. So these so-called bad girls, they get married. The so-called bad girls, they working girls to me, and they hustle. Any woman that is independent and free of herself, she can get a man. She can get married. We need to stop being, judgmental on those women, because to me, that's not right. Worry about yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this Thanksgiving is Thursday. Okay, and this year, because of COVID, many families are choosing to gather over Zoom, like we are, instead of around the kitchen table. And because of Zoom recently announced that they're going to lift the 40-minute meeting time limit on Thanksgiving, so y'all can fight more. Okay. Yeah. What y'all think of Zoom doing this? They giving Thanksgiving. They lifting it up. So you can be with your loved ones.
Sweet.
I think it's great.
Y'all like these Zoom meetings?
I think it's great.
I like
I'm
it.
so over these Zoom meetings.
I know, but at Thanksgiving, if you
feels
can't
like work.
if you can't go see your family, maybe you're eating together at the same time, or maybe you're cooking while you're Zooming with your family members. I think it's actually kind of nice, and I think, it'll help people, because if you go past the 45 minutes, you can either rejoin, I think, or you can sign up where, you get a subscription for the whole year. And so it's probably expensive for a lot of people, but I think it's a great way of connecting. I'm over the Zoom too, but for Thanksgiving, it might be a great idea since we're not supposed to have big family gatherings.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you won't be able
Just
to.
more of a FaceTime kind of gal.
Well, you know what?
But how are you
don't
gonna
have
cook and
eat.
FaceTime?
What's the difference between
The
FaceTime?
difference
Well, Zoom,
to
at
me
least you
is
can have it set.
one-on-one interaction. I think it's all the boxes that gets to be a lot for
Right.
me. You know,
can do a
it's like
bunch of
talking and
families.
stopping and telling everybody to mute themselves. The dog's barking in the background. I can't hear what Titi's saying. Like, it's a lot.
Well,
That's a
what
good
you do
point.
is you
That's a
have
good point.
no. What you do is you have one person that's over that'll be in charge of the Zoom. They the host of the Zoom host.
That's gonna
And so
start
they're
a
Just
whole
mute people.
thing.
I can't
Why
mute
do
my
I gotta be
auntie.
the one?
I can't be the one, right? I'm
You-
not gonna be the one to mute
I don't be the one
my auntie. I can't mute my
You gotta
mother.
do that.
And I have to mute my mother. She's terrible at Zooms. I'm like, Ma, stop. I can't do it.
That's
I
why
can't.
it's gonna be
And
lonely.
they have technical issues.
You would have to do it
They
for my
don't know that
family.
there's a little button where you're supposed to raise your hand if you got something to say. It's a lot.
No, they're not
It's
doing
gonna
that.
be
on.
great, but it's
But I
a
still
good way.
think
So
very
I say,
people.
do what you can.
Well, a lot of people have to isolate, so this is a good way for people to connect. And it's also a good way
Exactly.
that you don't have to smell that drunk uncle's breath. That's a wonderful thing. So just be there.
You can save on airfare. I mean, how come the airlines haven't been offering Thanksgiving discounts this whole time?
They don't want you to fly, Ryan. You're not supposed to fly.
Yes, you're not supposed to fly. Well, think of the money that you save for not buying that $800 ticket back to the East Coast or back to the West Coast or wherever. You save that money and you pocket it and do
And
something
you
When they
else.
start
Great
asking you
points.
nosy
Great
questions,
points.
you could just log off. That's it. When they say, when
Or
you
you
get
can act
married,
like you're
what you
frozen.
do?
Yeah, exactly,
You know what
exactly.
you do?
Yes.
You do this. You just do this. Did it close up? Did it? I'm not gone.
Adrian, we have to practice our froze face. This is
I
I
know.
like the thriller. I like the thriller version.
On the count of three, let's all
hear
just
you.
freeze.
I
1,
can't hear
2,
you.
3.
A worried wife recently wrote into Oregon's Live asking Amy for some advice. She said her sex life has dwindled away with her husband of 29 years. They're both in their
Beautiful.
60s and only have sex once a year, if that. She said that they used to do it all the time, of course, when they were in their 20s. And she is worried that, if it doesn't happen, that what's going to happen to their coupledom. So I'm going to ask you ladies who are married, what are you doing to spice it up? What do you think? Does it dwindle after a certain amount of time? Ryan, how long have you been married? To your hot husband, of course.
Well, it hasn't been 29 years. I don't even know how to conceptualize that amount of time. We've been married for 13 years.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, he's pretty great. He's pretty hot. I don't tell him that too often because we gotta keep things like you right. Listen, honestly, I do think that people go through ups and downs. Couples go through ups and downs. I had actually fun fact for her. I had a girlfriend who, from all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it seemed like her sex drive just went pew. And this went on for years. She thought something was wrong with her. She never mentioned it to her doctor. Finally, she mentioned to her doctor, it was her birth control pills. It was like a simple fix.
Wow.
They just changed the prescription and it was like within a week, like everything shifted. So,
Really?
Wow.
yeah. A lot, we find a lot of times women just don't mention certain things because if it's not painful or they're not bleeding, we just kind of keep on moving. We're just like, well, I'm just going to keep on pushing on. But talk about these things with your doctor. It doesn't mean the end of your sex life. It could really just mean there's something very simple that a doctor can address.
Or it could be
That
the
is
end
awesome
of
and
your
such a
sex
great
life.
point.
29 years is a long time. It could be.
Right? The fact that
kaput.
she still
Yeah, but
wants
you're
it.
not dead in your 60s. There are people that still have needs in
For
their 60s.
some people, though,
So-
you can look at some couples, Adrian, and you be like, they not getting it on at all.
No.
You can look at tell.
But what if it's just boring? What if the sex is just
I can't with y'all.
boring?
Well, okay, so that's where expectation comes into play. I think that if you have proper expectations, and again, communication, you feel it? Okay. But I feel like that is super important. And I think when you get into a marriage, having conversations about even what that may be like, 30 years from now, even if you can't fathom it, is so important because, guys, I think the biggest issue and when it becomes worrisome is when the husband has one expectation of wanting to get it on and the woman has another where she's like, we already did it a bunch of times. You know what it is. You know what it's like. That is when people be stepping out, and that's when you should be concerned.
60 years?
Well,
You've been with him
okay.
for 29 years, and he step out. Let him step out. Sometimes you're just tired, okay?
Former British Big Brother host Davina McCall recently revealed the key to her relationship success, and it may shock you. Davina, who currently dates Michael Douglas, not the actor Michael Douglas, but celebrity hairstylist Michael Douglas, says that she never passes gas around her man. Davina said, quote, Michael has never heard me fart. That will never happen. There is shame for me. And while Davina says she's a pro at holding it in, her boo actually revealed she has let a few tsunamis loose in her sleep before. So, ladies, do you like Davina's advice or does it stink? What's your thoughts? How does this go?
I don't even want to talk about it.
I know. I'm not that girl that
I feel
thinks
like-
farts are funny. You know how there's like fart funny people where they make jokes about like body stuff? Like that's not the kind of comedy
listen,
I enjoy.
I live
Like
with two
that's just not funny.
13-year-olds.
Yeah.
I live with two
Ugh,
13-year-olds.
not my
I hear
thing.
fart jokes all the time. And even when we're in the car, they let it loose. They're boys. I'm like, roll down the window. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's certain things that guys should not. Guys are visual, and I know we're talking about farting, but I think there's certain things guys shouldn't see. I don't think a guy should ever see you on the toilet. I really don't. I personally don't like to sleep with a head wrap if I'm sleeping next to a guy. There are just certain things because they're visual that I think you have to keep up. So when it comes to farting, if you can't help it, I wouldn't do it either. I'm with her. I'm with Davina or Davana, whatever.
With Davina,
I'm with her.
don't do it unless there's two appropriate occasions. If you're giving birth and if you're on your
Yes.
deathbed. And outside of those two occasions, don't do it. And if you do, lie. Lie like lie your butt off. Lie like, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, dead. I didn't. Oh, you must have heard me move the couch. Oh, I just was scooting around. You heard something. I would never, ever lie like a rug.
I love you.
Okay, so y'all ain't never,
Yes.
y'all ain't never been doing the do and it came out. So we gonna act like that
Well,
ain't
no,
never.
we're not saying it's never happened. We're trying not to do it purposely.
But people are out here intentionally farting like, oh, like who's doing that?
No.
I'm not doing that.
No,
can't.
what she said was she don't. She like if it happens, she like run to the other room or something like that. I'm like, no,
Okay.
don't. That's just a natural thing that happens. Mine smells like roses, so you know.
I'm sure it
I-
does.